Good. Good morning, good afternoon, a good evening. I am Lynn Hay, and welcome. I am again streaming in a couple places. The main place to find me is in the Facebook group, Tools to Reset Your Mindset. Consciousness with Lene. So make sure I'm up and running. I'm coming to you from StreamYard. There we go. All righty. So we are on a 30-day transformation journey of awareness of what it looks like, what it can be like, the questions that you can ask, tools, and who knows what else is going to pop up over the next 30 days to master your own energy. I always do this a lot, don't I? Own your energy. I'm going to focus on the own today. Okay. All righty. We are up. Let me see if I can tag everybody really quick. I can usually do that in my phenomenal woman community. It's breathing. So I'll just say, if you want more of this and you're liking this so far and you're like, God, I want more. And I actually want to have the clearings and the processes as we're having the topics. My phenomenal woman community is where you might want to come and play with us. And there's a link somewhere in here. I'm doing it at half price. It's 7 hours of coaching, but we go into deeper depths of actually, I facilitate and clear the energy from where the limitations and the beliefs are. Okay, so back to day 3. And let's see, day 1, we did willing. Are you willing? Are you willing? Are you willing for whatever that is? Are you willing to show up for you? Are you willing to do what is required to have change? And then I've asked everybody, wherever you come in on this, if you're on the journey for 30 days or you pop in, it's like, if you were to have the change, if you were to have change in 30 days, which you can have, and you can actually have change just like that. That's how energy works. Like I can work with somebody and like our joke is like, and I do 30-minute sessions with people who've worked with me. In 15 minutes, we have literally shifted their entire reality because it's energy. We're moving it like that. We're not getting stuck in the heaviness and the density of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So 30 days can change everything, and just showing up for clearing and processing, just like, woo, what else is possible? So day 1, willing, and it's okay to be happy. And that's where this started from, was the picture that I posted of Max and I, where my life is really good today. But what it took for it to be really good today is what we're kind of talking about. Like from wherever you are to wherever you're going, from wherever you are now to wherever you've been. Okay, there we go. Day 2 is, are you willing to how to show up for yourself? If you are going to be on this journey for me for free for 30 days, that's showing up for you. Okay. And we talked a little bit about women having, I have seen that's one of the places women lose themselves is with trust of themselves, because maybe you said you were going to do something and you didn't do it, or you had a diet and you didn't follow through, or you were going to leave that man but you didn't, or you weren't going to spend that money but you did spend the money. So everything that is like, where it comes out as this lower energy of lack of trust. Would you go ahead and just clear it? Just clear it. Just say that, just clear it again in the Phenomenal Woman, or if you work with me one-on-one, we go into a deeper process, but just clear it. And allowance for you, for whatever it is that you're choosing, like allowance. Okay, so for today, this is kind of one of my favorite satsangs, because this is where most people stick themselves. This is like where the entire reality sticks themselves. And remember when, I'll put this out there, when I'm talking, I'm kind of talking at a one level dimension of where you can hear me. Everybody's situation and story has so many different layers to it. So just know that I'm speaking out, and your story that you have it has more dimensions to it, but it still is the same point. Okay. I called this, and my upcoming course that I'm going to be offering is Master Your Own Energy. It doesn't say master your energy. Most people do master your energy courses or whatever. Mine's Master Your Own Energy. Um, because, and like I wrote down, this is my favorite saying, people choose what people choose. People choose what people choose. So we're going into the holidays, which is this is where you can really, 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 really practice this. I have 32 years, probably not 32 years of practice in this, probably more of maybe 22 solid years. Because when I first got into recovery, it was, 10 years of just working on me and whatever, all that goes into that. But then married, something changed, something was wrong, and I was sure it was him, and it actually ended up being him. It was something he was doing. That was my first marriage. But that's where I first got introduced to what's called Al-Anon. Okay. And I do like 12-step programs. That may not be anything you will ever set your foot in. But what I like about those, what I like about meetings, this is what I've learned, is everything's an energy. So what happens, there's studies from the themes of consciousness. I love that study. In any type of meeting where they're talking about whatever and the solution, the energy vibration runs at about 520. So that's what I always, right now, we've raised the vibration of the conversation of what we're having here, not at the problem, but at what the possibilities and what's available and the changes. So it brings up this vibration of who we be so that we have more, so that we have more. So anyway, so that's mastering your own energy, understanding the vibration, understanding what you're choosing and where you're, when we say, what are you vibing at? That's really true. Like, what are you vibing at? So master your own energy was something that, and people choose what people choose, that I learned in my first steps into learning that it's about him, it's about him, it's about him, it's about him, even though it did end up being about him and this little affair he was having. Him. You know the saying, if you're pointing at one person, there's three fingers pointing back. So people choose what people choose. What would it be like? Well, I know what it would be like, but what would it be like if you learned, if you're somebody who's looking at what, there's so much to this, gosh, I'm probably going to talk about this one for a while. Because there's a lot of layers to it. So in that particular, I'm sharing my story so that you can get from that. Him, they, three fingers back. It's never about them. It's about us. So if you bring the energy back, master your own energy. How many of you, and this is a big thing, this is one of the biggest things, do you find yourself more invested in what other people are doing and choosing, and then wanting them to choose or do something different? I mean, I guess maybe that's the way I could start it. So there's kind of three places, maybe. Like I said, this is a big topic. It's like energetically, when we are in other people's worlds, what they're doing, judging what they're doing, having an opinion, even if their life is a big shit show, right? And then I learned that really well. Practice this. People choose what they people choose. In another stint of 12-step and Al-Anon, when my son was on the streets doing meth, doing crystal meth, all the same thing. And that's a whole nother topic, because if you are listening, you have a child or a spouse or somebody who is doing something that could most likely kill them, this is a very hard tool to get down. I understand. I'm really, really good at it because my life depended on, if I was going to keep investing in other people and what they were choosing, I could not take care of myself. And for some people that might look selfish, and at first it might appear that way because we're brought up that if you don't help, you don't help, you don't help, you don't, then there's something wrong with you. So again, I'm talking about a topic that has so many layers to it. But if we don't go to the density of all the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that are attached to, maybe you are aware of something like right this moment, like somebody in your world, in your life is doing something that you do not approve of, you do not like, you have a point of view that if they didn't do what they were doing, that their lives were different. What I want you to master and understand is that here you are, here's your body, here's your energy. I mean, our energy is limited. We're connected to everything. But if we were just to talk about like maybe our auric field kind of area, just keep it in that basic, and then your body, anytime you go into somebody else's reality, you completely lose you. If I could just work with that with people on that one particular thing, like to pull your energy back from everywhere that you are and everywhere that you have decided that, like, again, so much energy on there's so many topics. Like, when someone is choosing something, they are choosing it. And it is the most difficult thing I am aware of, to allow them to continue to choose it. This is not, I mean, I can just say it because I've practiced it. I've worked with people and I've practiced it and I've lived it. To bring it into your world, it's a muscle. You don't just get it. First of all, you have to choose. You want to completely master your own energy differently. That's a whole different cycle. Even just acknowledging it will change it. Like, gosh, what would it be like if I didn't care what anybody else was doing? Let me tell you, it's the best thing in the whole wide world. What makes me very good at what I do. And again, I learned that years ago, and beginning of recovery was that, and people know me for this, if it's past my nose, it's none of my business. Okay, remember, I'm saying a lot. There's lots of layers to your stories, but just the gist of the energy of it. If I am clear, like just like something like, and this allows us to come back to our bodies, which is why it's always been so easy for me to use it. We come back in, somatically speaking, it's like, it's past my nose. It's none of my business. It's past my nose. It's none of my business. Now we can say that. That's like step one. There's like a few steps with that, but that's like mastering your own energy. It's like, wow, people choose what people choose. And maybe if you practice this a little bit, what I would want you to be aware of in this very fast 15 minutes I have with you, I'm going to come back to this topic because it's a big one. That if you were to take your little finger and someone's doing something that you're not okay with, or you have a point of view, you have an opinion, that's where it gets us all jacked up. You're not mastering your own energy when you are in somebody else's world judging. Okay. And let's get real. Everybody judges. Everybody judges. So it's not like a secret. That's how this reality functions, period. When I got that, I was like, oh my God, thank God there's nothing, that I'm not wrong there too, because of course my whole thing is everywhere that I'm wrong. So it was like everywhere I was fighting myself because I was judging so that I could be wrong. This is how this reality works. Not going to go into that in depth right now. Is we function in this reality from the time that we are very little. We are programmed that there's a right and a wrong. And there's a right and a wrong. Okay, remember, I'm talking the top level, energetics. There's a right and a wrong. And in order for you to be okay, you have to be on one side of the other, which is always going to be on the side of the right. But if you're always wrong, then it's really hard to always be right. So when that person is wrong, then you're right. But if they're right, then you're wrong. Would you clear that, please? Destroy and uncreate everything that comes up with that. Sometimes when I talk, you might go, what? What did you just say? And I will speak in certain ways. That's how we clear. We ask questions, and I will say things so that your brain goes, what? So that you cannot find the answer. All you can go is like, what did you just say? Like, yesterday is like, if you were willing to be aware of what it is that you're aware of, that if you were aware of it, it would change your entire reality. That's a lot. So everything that is, clear that. Okay. I'm not saying let go, because if you let go, it's like this, you have an old point of view. It's like, it just comes back. Just like clear it out of your space. Okay. So people choose what people choose. And I'm looking at the 15-minute clock. So I've got to, and that's what I committed to pour out in these 15-minute conversations. So this is your like practice anywhere. So we were talking about judgment. I was like just doing the thing like, okay, we are brought up to judge others so that we can figure out if we're right or wrong. Okay, so cool. That's how this reality functions. What if you chose a different reality, and the different reality that you're going to choose is like, wow, everything's existing. They're choosing what they're choosing. It's none of my business. I'm going to come back and I'm going to master my own energy. I'm going to be aware of what it is that I'm choosing. I'm going to start to ask questions about what it is that I am choosing. Okay, so that was a lot. I will come back and continue to talk about this, because this is probably one of the many, many keys to mastering your own energy, what's going on in your world and not everybody else's world. And if everybody could learn how to do that just a little bit better, we would have so much more space in this world to like have ease and create. Because here's the thing. If you're following me, you're most likely sensitive. You're a highly sensitive person. They now have it. You're someone that has a recovering addiction. You're just sensitive. You're empathic. You're intuitive. You're psychic. You're aware. You have that. So you know when someone's judging you, right? That's a whole nother thing too. Like you're so aware that you're like, oh God, they're judging me again. That's like family stuff, right? But what would it be like that even as we do this journey, that what it'd be like not to judge other people? And it's an energy thing. We don't even do it. Our energy pops into the world, and then we wonder why we're depleted and we're exhausted and we're like exasperated. It's because our energy is everywhere. Okay. So right now, would you please pull your energy in from everywhere that it is? Take a breath. Anywhere and everywhere that your energy is, pull it in. Even if you don't know what I'm talking about, just pull it in. Say, oh, hello, energy all over. All over. Pull it in. And if you were choosing for you, what would you choose today? And that was yesterday. How do you show up for you? And what do you choose for you? And it's okay to be happy. That's where we're going to end on that. That was like 15 subjects I covered in 15 minutes. All righty. So pass your nose. It's none of your business. What are you going to choose today to show up for you? People choose what people choose. And we'll continue with that. Alrighty. Loving, 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 loving. So appreciative of all of your comments. Because again, when we comment, it helps contribute to all of the women on this page, because they may not be participating, but they're watching and they're reading. So if you are available to comment on what your experience is or what your nuggets are, everybody will raise the level of what it is that we are creating here. We're creating something here in this 30 days. So thanks for being part of the creation. Okay, I'm off to Legoland with the grandkids. See y'all later. See you tomorrow, 7:30 PST time.